you should be seeing a pop-up on your screen that says we're recording the meeting. You just hit the OK that. We will. I'll announce something about that now. And we will be having a speaker. So if you are in a room that's noisy, I would appreciate it if you would mute. I can mute all, but I prefer just to let you do that on your own. I would like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight, and I'll introduce one of our speakers. I think most everyone knows Beth Slade, and she needs no introduction. She will be our first speaker.
We don't have to do anything else, I don't think, do we?
She was originally scheduled to be our second one, but she's going to have to leave.
I don't think so.
Yeah, someone's talking, and they have their.
People are talking.
They're not muted, so we need you to mute. So thank you. So anyway, I have an agenda displayed on the on your screen there. I will be sending notes out for this. I'll probably send them out the way I did the invitation. So
I don't know why we're not hearing it.
Wait a minute, go back.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop.
Jim Tabowski joined us. Okay. So anyway, I may end up having to mute everyone, or at least try to find the person that doesn't know they're not muted. Anyway, there's an agenda on here. Our first speaker is going to be Beth, because she's got to leave at 7. I can see.
I know why we don't have any.
Yeah. This is okay. So anyway, this is the agenda. I've got the logos for Leader Dog and for North Carolina Reading Service. Underneath those are 2 QR codes. If you point your camera towards the QR code under Leader Dog, it should ask you if you want to go to that website. It will. Same thing for Leader Dog. And then I've got some other links down there. I'll be sharing these, and we'll record in the meeting. So at this point in time, I am going to end my screen share here. And now we should be back in.
What did I just do?
You got something better than we had.
I don't know what I did.
We just don't have any sound.
I'm going to need to mute someone here. Okay, I'll do that in a second. Anyway, so at this point in time, I would like to finish my introductions. I would like to welcome everyone. I do want to just make a few comments briefly at first, and then we're going to jump right in and let Beth come in. She has a presentation. She's going to show a slide video, and so
I can hear you, Paul.
So anyway,
can you hear me, Bill?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Myra, it's Dawson.
Hey, how are you?
Okay.
See?
We need to go ahead and get started, and so I may end up having to mute everybody. Don't really like to do that, but I may. So anyway, moving right along.
You have your phone. Bring your phone here and find the same email.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to
We'll
mute everybody.
Let
me see if I can mute all. Yeah. See, this is why I needed a second there, Beth. Anyway, so anyway, I would like to start off by saying fundraising is important, and we talk about fundraising a lot, but I also feel like service is important, and the service that we can do is to let people know about Leader Dog, help them get Leader Dogs, and so bango. All right, so I just muted everybody, and you can unmute yourself if you want to. So, anyway, as I said, fundraising is very important, but and we need to continue that. But also the service of learning about Leader Dog and the various aspects of it also is important, and helping people get Leader Dogs by sponsoring them as a club, and also maybe video and their things the requirement for the application is very important. So that's one of the things we're going to sort of focus on tonight, is the service aspect of it. I know COVID has hit a lot of clubs. You can't do as much as you'd like to. You can't do fundraisers, you can't do service projects much, but this is an excellent time to spend and learn a lot of stuff about Leader Dog. I think you're going to be very impressed with some of Beth's presentation on things Leader Dog's done. So learning about that and also preparing so when you can start doing your service projects, fundraising projects, again, you're better prepared, and learning to use Zoom is one of those. So I'm going to reserve my comments about North Carolina Reading Services when Janet joins us. And I'm going to just mention that there is a vast amount of information on the Leader Dog website. There's on that screenshot that you saw, there were QR codes that get you there, also links. And Beth is going to talk about one of the aspects of the virtual learning aspect, and then she'll be open, of course, to questions for everything. And I do hope that you will use this opportunity while you're not able to do all the other things from, because of COVID, that you'll learn your electronic communications such as Zoom. So with that, I believe I am, I'll be sending all these links out. As I said, I'll probably send them out the way I sent out the initial invitation, which would be through your district Leader Dog chairs. Your district Leader Dog chairs are here. I've heard Dawson out. The Dawson out in District L, Antha and myself, I'm in District S. I'm also a district chair. So would like to welcome them. And if Bill Womack or Tom Stifley is here, I'd like to welcome him also. These are some great Leader Dog chairs. So
yeah, Bill, Tom Snively, I'm here.
All right, maybe we can talk tomorrow, Chris. Okay. Thank you, appreciate it.
all right, Beth, if you will unmute yourself, and okay, and then you can begin your presentation, and you've got as long as you want to. So somebody keeps unmuting themselves. I believe it's Paul Sandak.
No,
Like
no.
Paul Sandak. Yeah. So Beth, go ahead. I apologize for that.
That's no worries. Hopefully everybody, are we serving North Carolina barbecue during this? Because
Virtually, you have to do it virtually.
I don't have any sitting next to me. And that's what I don't like about virtual presentations is the lack of barbecue that's served. So I think I know most everybody who's on here.
I wonder if we should try to start an over maybe on your computer.
No, that has nothing to do.
Just log off the whole thing and come back on.
Well, it's a shame to do that.
Paul, you have to mute.
Beth, you're gonna have to unmute yourself again. I don't know who that is speaking there, but I can't seem to get them to stop.
We're unmuted now, so we should be getting.
Yeah, well, he should be.
Yeah,
unmuted
well, would you please not, I don't know
Muted
that
all of us,
company's
we can't hear
talking,
us.
but would you please, I'm gonna have to drop you from the meeting if I can't get you to not talk. I keep muting folks and they keep talking. So please do not talk if you're not muted.
Maybe I did something wrong when I signed
Back
out.
to my speaker.
I'll go on and start. As Lion Bill was saying, I'm Lion Beth Slade. For those of us who haven't met before, I'm the Director of Lions Engagement, Director of Philanthropy at Leader Dog. So I'm a Lion and also work with Lions all across the country at Leader Dog. So I'm always a resource for getting the word out to everybody who's blind and visually impaired, every Lion, anybody who can use our programs or services, not just in North Carolina, but all the way across the country. So Bill had asked that we're going to focus tonight a little bit on our online education. What we found during COVID is we still have people to
We
serve.
finally got back. Connie did something and we're in right now, Jim.
So as Lions and
Thank you, sir.
we have about, well, on the low end, 1.3 million
I'll hear us talking.
Oh,
blind or visually impaired in the United States. That's just the United States. So we have a lot of people to serve. And just as you all are out giving presentations and educating people in your communities, there are other guide dog organizations. And I always say it's not a competition, it's a collaboration. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we're offering so that you all are better educated to educate people in your communities. So as you probably all know, obviously we have guide dogs for anyone who's 16 years of age and older. We say legally blind, but of course we all know vision is, well, kind of screwy that way. Sometimes it's your central vision, sometimes it's your peripheral. So that varies case by case. We also offer orientation and mobility, which is white cane training. And that is basic travel skills for anybody blind or visually impaired. What we have found is you all have the Department for Blind and Visually Impaired. We work with them in North Carolina. The Lions helped connect us with them so that they offer this white cane training. But guess what? There are a lot of agencies out there that have not been able to return to services since COVID. We are still serving people. So that is really big news to get out to people who are blind and visually impaired and out to the agencies so that they know we're still providing this training. And of course, the third one is summer experience for teens. We've had a lot of kids in from North Carolina. Normally, it is 1 week on campus where kids from all over the country who are blind or visually impaired come and learn all sorts of leadership skills. They get a day with a guide dog. They go to our Lions Bear Lake Camp and they do the ropes course. So we have a lot of programs for people who are blind or visually impaired. Guide dogs, like for example, down the street, you guys have in Florida, Southeastern Guide Dog School, outstanding organization. We partner with them a lot. So we offer things that they don't offer, and they offer things that we don't offer. So educate yourselves as best you can to help serve the people in your communities. With that said, because of COVID, we've learned a lot of things. We did have to cancel classes a little bit during last year on campus because the COVID numbers were just so high, and we just can't take the opportunity, give COVID the opportunity to get anybody sick. So a lot of us are still working remotely or partially remotely because we have dogs on campus. We have a lot of people that are still on campus. Our guide dog mobility instructors, our orientation and mobility instructors are still on campus. They're doing a lot of home deliveries, and we're still having people come onto campus. And we're taking a lot of protocols, health protocols, to make sure nobody gets sick. Because do remember, part of our mission is health. Right. So we look after everybody's health. So one of the things that we came up with during COVID is a lot of online resources and a lot of online education. And we're going to talk about a smidgen of that today. One of the programs that we started was our Tom's Talks. So if you're familiar with TED Talks, those podcasts that are played, you'll hear a lot of people talking about TED Talks. So ours is Technology, Orientation, and Mobility. So it stands for Tom's Talks. This is a sort of a hybrid online learning for young adults, sort of just above summer experience. So that's 16 and 17-year-olds. So for that 18 to about 23 age group, talking to them about, are you prepared to enter the workplace? Do you know what your travel opportunities are, be it with a white cane or a guide dog? Are you prepared to enter the workforce? So the Tom Talks were actually very popular, and we've even incorporated that a little bit further into some online training modules. And I'm going to share my screen. I told Bill beforehand, I'm working on one monitor right now, and I'm used to working on two. And I hope, because I'm not at home, this Wi-Fi will play. So I'm going to introduce to you Leslie Hoskins, and up on the screen, there is a picture of Leslie leaning up against the building. Leslie is a comms after her name there. It's the initial COMS. That's actually a degree. It's a profession. That's a certified orientation and mobility specialist. So Leslie was on our team for orientation and mobility, white cane training. That is what she is educated in. It's what her background is in. She is now our outreach services and community engagement manager. Leslie is the person that connects us with schools for the blind and low vision, departments for the blind and low vision. She is that person that lets the professionals in North Carolina know that we're a resource to work with. And that team also does a lot of continuing education, sort of like real estate. If you're a real estate or another profession where you have to have continuing ed, Leader Dog Orientation and Mobility team offers continuing ed for COMS, Certified Orientation and Mobility Specialist. So Leslie couldn't be here tonight, so I asked her if she would record what we're doing online for some additional resources. So she's going to talk about resources for people who are interested in coming to Leader Dog, for families and friends, for professionals. There's a whole section on our website, and I'm going to play this, and hopefully, Bill, you have to come on to tell me if it's lagging anywhere, and then I'll pop back on. So I'm happy to introduce to you Leslie Hoskins. I hope.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie Hoskins.
It's
I'm a
playing.
certified orientation and mobility specialist, as well as the outreach services and community engagement manager at Leader Dogs for the Blind. I'm sorry I can't be with you live today. However, I am really excited to share about our virtual learning resources. So these were developed in a time of COVID where we really wanted to stay engaged with our communities and our clients. We wanted to continue to provide opportunities for education, additional resources for, again, not only our clients or those thinking about applying, but also that support network. We know that in the last year and a half, our clients have, of course, felt isolated, and even more so during this time as everybody's been isolating and socially distancing, that any sort of information that we can provide or resources or a way to feel involved and connected was really important. So we developed the virtual learning resources as kind of this learning platform where you can continue to educate and advocate and share resources with others. So this can be found on our website at leaderdog.org. Along the top, there's a bar of different items, and one of those being resources, the last one on the right. If you click on that, it'll give you a drop-down menu, and one of those items is going to be virtual learning. And that's where you can find this page or these resources. So on the screen here, I actually have just a screen clip of the actual web page, and you'll see here that there are 4 different categories. So when we were thinking about this virtual learning platform that we wanted to create and who it was really for, we identified 4 different categories of audiences. One being prospective clients, so anybody who's thinking about or interested in applying for any one of our programs. The second category being our graduates, those who have already completed a program at Leader Dog. Our third category being family and friends. We know our clients ourselves, we have donors, we have support networks of our families and our clients, Lions, lots of different categories kind of fall into that family and friends. And then we also have blind rehab professionals. So there's lots of other professionals in the field, whether they be, blindness focused and or kind of like neighboring professions that are working with clients who have vision impairments and want to learn more about it and how they can assist or better help them. So we kind of created a whole category for them. Most of those are going to be in the blindness and rehab field. However, so for example, we've had some occupational therapists who are interested in learning more about blind rehab or how they can help their clients, or PTs, physical therapists, that type of category. So those are really the 4 audiences that we identified as the most important, or most everybody kind of fell into. So under each one of these categories, you can actually click on the picture and or the word or category, and it'll take you to a new page with videos that we've identified specifically for that category. You'll find that a lot of the videos do cross categories and kind of fit into multiple spaces, but there are some that are specific to each individual category. So to break it down a little bit for you, the first one being prospective clients. So again, those are going to be those individuals who are thinking about applying and or coming to campus for any sort of our training, whether that be guide dog, O&M, or camp. Here, what we want to do is we want to try to ease any anxieties that somebody might have. What can we do? What can we tell them about to hopefully make take that next step and get on the plane or hit the application button, whatever it is, that's what we're looking to do in this category. So some of the videos that you'll find there are a campus tour, check out what our facilities are like, what it would be like to stay on campus for training. Another video is what is O&M? What is orientation and mobility, and kind of how do we teach it here at LeaderDog? Along with that, there's a great video on how do I know when it's time for me to start using a cane? There's so many myths out there that if I'm not, if people aren't totally blind, then they aren't blind. And we know that's not true. Most of our clients have some sort of remaining vision. So educating people about that and letting them know that they're not deceiving or faking anybody out, even if they have some vision, it's still appropriate to probably start using a cane. So there's some good history there. There's also client testimonials. So hear firsthand from some of the people who have been here for our programs to get their feedback. Additionally, with that, there's a great video on guide dog readiness. Maybe clients are interested in a guide dog and want to know, is it the right time? Is it a right fit for me? And it kind of goes through and answers all those questions. The next category being graduates. So here we really wanted to provide a space for our clients to feel connected and engaged, or at least some other resources to help them get to those points. So for example, there's information on how to join our private Facebook alumni page that's exclusive to our alumni. It's a great space for sharing stories, asking for feedback or support, looking for encouragement, just making connections of other peers, kind of experiencing the same things. It's been really successful. So you can find information there, or graduates can. There's also information on, of course, O&M and guide dog, depending on which category they're interested in. There's a video on accessible pedestrian signals, what they do and what they don't do. There's also information there on our collaboration events, which are live events that happen once a month, where we collaborate and partner with other organizations to learn more resources that are available to our clients. So far we've partnered with APH, we're partnering with HumanWare this month, Computers for the Blind, we've partnered with ACB, lots of different organizations to really just share what they have going on. LeaderDog's one piece of the puzzle. We really focus on mobility, but that's just one side of rehab. So hopefully by doing these collaboration events, we're giving our clients additional resources of what else is available to them. Computers for the Blind joined us. I learned a ton about what our clients are qualified for and who can participate in those programs. And the feedback I've gotten so far is that everybody's really enjoying them and learning a lot. I for sure am learning a lot about other organizations, which is great. Also, agencies and professionals have really been joining those to educate themselves and their clients. So collaboration events have been great. And you can see that's kind of on the bottom of the screen here. Those are available to absolutely anyone and everyone who's interested. But the idea behind them is to benefit our clients mainly. We're happy that everybody else is too, but clients are the number one focus with that one. Okay, so our third category, our family and friends that support networks. So this again is for those individuals who maybe their loved one is coming to training and they're nervous or thinking about it or getting home from training. So here you're going to find family testimonials from other spouses or parents and things like that, hearing how their experience was with LeaderDog or what their experience is. There's also a great video there on how to support your loved one after returning home from training. So many times we get these questions from parents or spouses, when do I help? When do I not? There's a really nice video that kind of answers those questions. Our last category is those blind rehab professionals. So anybody who's in the professional field looking to educate themselves on our programs and services, how they can assist clients better, how they can incorporate some of our techniques or ideas into their training to help prepare clients. Many of the videos are for continuing education credits for those professionals within ACVREP. So it's been a really great opportunity. So those are the 4 categories that we have. Again, we see this as a continuously developing resource. We want to keep adding new content as it's developed. We're taking suggestions of content that anybody's interested in seeing more of. But so far we've had really good success and really good feedback from these. So we're looking forward to watching it grow and adding to each one of these categories. So if you have any questions, by all means, please feel free to reach out, but check out the website. Again, it's leaderdog.org and it's under the resources tab. You'll find the virtual learning options. They're free. They're available to anybody. You can watch them anytime. So I hope you enjoy them. And please let me know again if you have any questions. I'm happy to chat through any of these. Thanks. Bye-bye.
So that was that was my colleague Leslie, and I'll start my video back up. Hopefully that all played through. I'm going to leave the slide up for just a second. So there are 4 categories that are on that virtual learning: one for prospective clients, one for graduates, one for family and friends, and one for blind rehab professionals. Please feel free to log into any one of those. I think they ask for your name and your email as you're logging in. And do you want more information? Just so we can capture that to reach back out to people. But outside of that, we don't sell the list. It's really just to make sure that you're getting everything that you need. Feel free. You can go down this rabbit hole. Winter is a coming, folks, and we're going to be inside. So this is a great resource. Again, if you know of people who could use our services, if you want to learn more, there's a lot of information that you just may never have thought of. Like, what is it like when your leader dog comes home, right? This isn't a regular pet. This is a working animal. And how can you best fit into that? So all of those things are in there, and it's just great to educate yourself, whether that's your expertise or not. Now, Bill had asked me a couple of different questions beforehand. So Bill, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you had sent before, sort of like talking about what our overall impact has been this last year and what it looks like in North Carolina. So I'm going to hit on this. And again, any questions you guys have, I'll take them at the end. And I won't go way down this rabbit hole, but and there is a lot of writing on the screen right now, which I don't usually like to do. So I just want to kind of fill you guys in on what it looked like. Our fiscal year is the same as Lions, right? So we started July 1 and we end at the end of June. So last fiscal year that just ended in the middle of this summer, of course, we were impacted by COVID. So we had to take a couple of months off from serving because we couldn't do the volume, because we couldn't have people on campus. So we were doing a lot of home deliveries. So last year, last Lions fiscal year, we served 97 clients across the United States, and 48 of those were home deliveries. In a quote unquote normal year, we serve about 200. So you can see the impact that we had this year, but know that it didn't mean that people didn't need our services. That's what we could provide. We trained 68 people in white cane training, that orientation and mobility. Normally we train about 100, but something that did happen this year is we provided some that were a little bit more local with at-home training, which is not something we've ever done before. We were still able to serve 4 people who are deafblind with specially trained guide dogs that are also trained for people who are deafblind. We still did our summer experience. It wasn't in person, but we could do it virtually. And that team, that orientation and mobility team, they came up with the most interactive virtual summer camp for kids. It was phenomenal. They had an escape room, if you've ever done one of those virtually. They sent out boxes that had all sorts of crafts and things that they did together. They had a scavenger hunt. They were so involved, and the kids loved it. And then we had another 22 that were in the Tom's Talks and also did that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. We had 17 in the Tom's Talks, 22 in the summer experience. There's so many words on here, I can't even read them. And then those videos that Leslie was just talking about, that virtual training, we had 109 views on there. So we're always tracking, are we getting that information out so that people know we're a resource? And of course, the usual, I can't not say this number, we still do not charge for our services. So thanks to Lions, even though it was a really rough year, we still do not have to charge our clients. We're 100% philanthropically funded. You're going to hear me say this ad nauseum because we're really proud of it. Everything we do, we fundraise every year. So we don't have to charge our clients. Coming to campus, home delivery, either way, it's free. The dog, the harness, the white cane, the GPS, if that's part of your program, the summer experience, it's all free. So what did it look like in North Carolina? So hopefully you can see the whole screen here. Here are 2 clients that are from North Carolina, just because I pulled them up here. So right now, y'all have about 19 guide dog teams on the ground. In North Carolina, these are just North Carolina numbers on here. We've placed over 249 leader dogs. So if you put that by today's numbers, that's about $11 million worth of services that we did not bill out for. So pat yourselves on the back. It's a team effort, right? We've trained 27 people with white cane skills. Bill is one of them, and he wore his Lions vest the entire time. The entire team remembers Bill doing that. We've had 5 kids up for summer experience for teens. And right now, and Tom's on here, so this is current puppy raisers. This is not a historical how many puppy raisers, but another impact from North Carolina is we happen to have volunteer puppy raisers who are Lions and some who are not, who are North Carolina. So a big shout out to Tom Snively, because I know you're on here as well. But right now we have 2 puppies being raised in North Carolina. So I'll go over this in case there are folks on here who don't know this. People like Antha are going to be going, I know exactly what this next slide is going to be. How can your club, your district, the clubs in your districts partner with Leader Dog? First off, spread the word. I can't hammer this home enough. If a club has a Facebook page, if you have a Facebook page, go on to Leader Dogs and accept us as a friend, because we can spread your information and you can spread ours. We're on all social media. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Share it, because there are going to be people in North Carolina who have no idea what their resources are. We want them to know that we're a resource for them, and it's not going to cost them anything. It doesn't matter if they're insured or not. Insurance doesn't cover it. So connect us with your local agencies. I just connected, he's not on here. I just connected Leslie with, oh my gosh, why am I just going to completely blank on his name? Tom, who's our friend? Peter. Peter Crumley, just connected Leslie and Peter Crumley. He works a lot with local agencies for the blind, because I want Leslie to connect with local agencies so that they know Leader Dog is a resource, right? So connect us with your veterans administrations, your school for the blind and visually impaired. Connect us, because they won't know that we're a resource. Post a brochure. You can go on to leaderdog.org, go over to the Lions tab. It drops down to resources. On that resources page, there are presentations. We've recorded them. We have them in PowerPoint. We have them in Word format, the entire presentation to give to a club. And there's also a button to order free materials like brochures. Anywhere there is a thumbtack, or you can stick a thumbtack, stick it up around your community. Go to your libraries. Place the brochures in the large print area. Go to your grocery store, stick it on the wall. I don't care where you leave those brochures. They're about 1/3 of a page. It tells what we do. And guess what? There's a Lions logo on there too. And of course, Bill mentioned it. When you all can do it safely, fundraise. We can't do what we do without funds, and we don't hopefully ever have to charge anybody for our programs and services. And we're really proud of that. And you should be proud of that, because that's thanks to Lions. So with that said, whoops. Maybe we'll see the next slide, because I don't remember what it is. Oh, non-event fundraisers. So if you can't get out there, we've got Dollars for Dogs, which are the little paper tags that you can take to your local businesses and ask them if they will offer them up for a $1, a $5, or a $20 donation. It's a great non-event fundraiser. My club did it, 2 people did it, and we raised over $1,500. Never had an event. Amazon Smiles, we have the Roundup app. I've got a little picture on here of a Facebook fundraiser that Lion Connie did. Atlanta, Lions in Atlanta raised $2,000 on a Facebook fundraiser. Great way to not get people together. And I think, let's see. Oh, the club and individual giving. We have all sorts of sponsorships. You can do a puppy sponsorship. We have founders tributes. You can do bricks, anything that can be personalized for people who are club members or businesses that work with you. Individual gifts. And here's my favorite picture. right there. There's a picture of Lion Bill walking down on warm weather training in Florida. And again, I just want to say thank you for helping us spread the mission and for getting the word out there, because it's like lions, right? We're the best held secret out there for people who are in North Carolina who could use us. So as our friend, past district governor and leader dog client Len Quinn said, in every leader dog lies the heart of a lion. So I've rambled on. Bill, does anybody have any questions? Did I cover everything you wanted me to cover?
Yeah, we will open up for questions, and you'll need to unmute yourself. While I can mute you, I can't unmute you. So a question, one of the things I would say, Lion Beth, is that we actually did have someone, I believe, participate in your Tom's class. It was a lady named Walencia.
What a beautiful name.
And she's in District I believe it is. So one of the questions people can unmute now, and if you want to ask a question, they had about how there's a question about if you want someone who's got a dog or is a puppy raiser to come talk, what's the way that somebody might do that? I know there's privacy issues, and we don't want to we don't want to mess up any privacy issues, but how would a club go about requesting a speaker if they didn't know of anyone?
That's a really good question. So, especially now that we're doing things virtually, some clubs are doing them hybrid. Always go on to, I hate to say this, like I'm pounding this into your heads. Go into leaderdog.org under the Lions resource, go to the Lions Club tab, drops down to resources where you can order, you can get the presentations and you can order materials. There's also a request a speaker. So if you go on there and say, it's a club visit, it's a district convention, whatever it is, that'll come through to Lion Kathleen. For those of you who haven't met Lion Kathleen, she's on my team as well. And she'll give you a call and say, do you want a puppy raiser? Do you want a client? Do you want a staff? Let's talk about it. Is it virtual? Is it in person? She'll look out to see who's the best person to do that. I'll tell you how it used to be in the old days. We could just send out lists of who our clients were and who our puppy raisers were. But obviously we have some privacy laws now, and we respect that. And not everybody is in that position that they want to be a speaker. So reach out to us through that. You can also pick up the phone and call us. You can send us an email, and we'll partner you with whomever is the best. If it's a virtual event or a semi-virtual event where they can project us, I mean, of course, then the sky's the limit. We can project everybody we know in there. If it's local, we always request that you give us as much heads up as you possibly can, because sometimes it takes us a while to track down who that best person is.
Okay, well, thank you. All right.
And I'm gonna throw out there just real quick, because I know Tom is on here. Puppy raisers, it can be tricky because it might be a little space of time in that puppy's life that you really don't want to take them out in public. And I know Tom is laughing secretly to himself because he knows this.
Lion Beth?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lion Myra McLeod, and out of the Fayetteville area. And you said that you gave, along with the leader dogs, you gave out white canes and GPSs. Did I hear that correctly?
Right. We have training for white cane. So we have 3 programs. Okay. We have the guide dog, we have white cane training, and the summer experience for teens. So we have those 3 programs.
Okay. Have you ever looked at the We Walk white cane?
I haven't, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm not in that department. Is that electronic?
It's an electronic white cane that has the GPS, Bluetooth, Google Maps. It even gives you bus schedules. Right. I'm in committee. I'd love to talk to you on the side and maybe show it to you.
Well, I'll tell you this, Myra, I'm just going to stop right there. And okay. I did say that, right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay. So what we are doing a lot of times, because technology is not always accessible to everyone that we serve, okay, either through expense or because they don't get Bluetooth or Wi-Fi where they are, or it's not always available.
Okay.
Think of we train at the most basic level. We want you to be able to know how do you navigate where you're going without
Right,
the use of that? So, and because it's a week-long class and you work one-on-one with an O&M specialist, we don't usually go down the technology on the canes. We like to learn about it, but we want you to know what happens if I don't have that with me.
Okay.
So I would connect you with Leslie and you guys can talk about that. Yep. But we want people to know what happens when my phone doesn't work to give me directions. Well, you need to know, how do I know I've gone 5 blocks? How do I know I've gone north, south, east, west?
Right, exactly.
So, and I'm glad you brought that up.
You can use it as both. I mean, it can be just a regular white cane, but I was very curious about that because I thought you guys only did the dogs. That's nice that you do that. That's a nice.
And you know why we do that is because a lot of people were applying for guide dogs who didn't have that basic travel skill, right? Because the dogs don't know where Walmart and Starbucks happens to be. You need to know where that is, right? We'd like to train them to do that, but you can train them to do that. And you can't always take a guide dog with you. And quite frankly, a guide dog is not always the answer, but our mission is for people to travel safely and confidently. And so hence we started the O&M. So
thank you.
You brought up another presentation.
I can get you the contacts, any contacts at Leader Dog, but what they normally do, I think these days is they're issuing tracker breeds. I believe.
Right. So we do have the handheld GPS that you can, if that's something that's useful for you, they will train you in that.
Okay. All right. That's nice to know. That's nice to know.
Yes.
All right.
And now you know why, right? That's
we try to find lions because they aren't that expensive. And we try to find local Lions clubs to the people to help get this technology to them. Yeah. Because there's so much out there that nobody's ever heard of.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Myra. Lion Beth only has a few more minutes, so let's entertain some other questions. And our next speaker, Janet from North Carolina Reading Services, joined us. So welcome, Janet. We'll start our next topic here just in a few minutes because Lion Beth's got another appointment, believe it or not. So other questions for Lion Beth?
Yes, Beth, this is Dawson.
Hi, Dawson.
Hey, I was wondering, did you know Brian Young?
Yes.
Brian actually trained my very first dog and was my trainer at Guide Dogs America in California.
Did he really? So Brian Young was a guide dog mobility instructor. Those are the people who train the guide dogs and then also our clients to work with them. And Brian was a leader dog, guide dog mobility instructor, had previously been out in California. It's a very small community. There are probably about 1,400 GDMIs worldwide. It's a very small community. And Brian passed away not too long ago.
I was shocked.
We were all shocked.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that as well, Dawson, because he was a good guy.
Oh, I used to say he was the biggest butt I ever met, but he knew how to train a dog. I mean, that boy.
We weren't going to make a personal comment on there.
He knew how to train a dog.
Because we'd say that about all of us.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry because you know what, Dawson, that was a loss for you as it was a loss for us.
Yeah. I just talked to Kathleen this morning.
And thanks for ordering stuff to take down to the convention. So very good.
Okay. Other questions for Lion Beth?
Y'all, we're always around. Lion Kathleen, Lion Mike Dengate, myself, we're always here to take questions. Please don't hesitate. There's a lot of resources online. Just get the word out. And we so appreciate it as Lions ourselves. Pat yourselves on the back. This was a grassroots organization and Lions are the ones who founded us. And you'll continue to get this out there. And it's just phenomenal. So, and I would like to also thank our next speaker. Thank you so much for letting me slide in first. I so appreciate that.
Okay. Beth, we appreciate it. I'll close, I guess, by saying they really do have some fantastic training there, that virtual learning. Beth didn't mention one, but there's one I really enjoy. It's called the Accessible Pedestrian Signals, which is really important, and they do a great job on that. And not many people, including people who are visually impaired, know about the accessible pedestrian signals, how you use them and what they can do. But it's really important because if they don't know, how do they go request to get them or complain they don't have them? So it is really some super training. And I personally feel like that's information all lines need to know, because you need to be able to share that with with those who need it. So thank you once again, and we appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to introduce our speaker from, thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Lion Bill.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce our next speaker, which is the North Carolina Reading Service, is Janet, and she's going to introduce herself also a little bit and tell you what her last name is. I usually butcher it pretty good, but I would say the North Carolina, I keep on slipping to saying radio reading service, but that just says I'm old. But the North Carolina Reading Service is really a fantastic organization. I don't hear much about it, and that's one of the reasons I asked Janet to join us, is to tell us some of the great things. We have the link, which we'll share with everyone. I'm sure many of you do, but it is really a meaningful and useful service for those who are blind. And recently, they've just added some of our district newsletters on that service, which enables people who couldn't read those or read them easily earlier. So, Janet, if you would, do you need the screen share, by the way?
I will.
Okay, so you can do that, and it should work, because it worked for me earlier, and it worked for Lion Beth. So we thank you. So what I would ask you to do, Janet, is to tell us about the radio reading service. I'm sure you might want to give a plug in about how you could use our support. And
I will.
Okay, and then we'll entertain some questions if you would like. So
Okay.
take her away.
Before I share my screen, I thought I'd just say hello to everybody. I'm doing quite a few Lions Clubs talks in the next few months, going to Durham, going to Bill's Lions Club in November. So now I've been to Gardner, Cary, several others too. And I'm Janet Schanzenbach is how you say my last name. Don't worry, there'll be no quiz. I am with the North Carolina Reading Service. See, Bill, you got me doing it already. Reading Service, and I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see my PowerPoint presentation. All right, and this is the logo of the North Carolina Reading Service. We have been around for quite a while. Our mission is connecting people who are blind and print impaired to each other, their communities, and families by delivering news and information, entertainment, and special features using the latest audio technology. And we're very pleased to say we do use the latest audio technology. Up until 2019, we had very old equipment, and thanks to some wonderful donors, we were able to get new equipment so that our signal is loud and clear right now. We've been broadcasting for 38 years. We were founded in co-founders Ben Eason, who was blind, and Dr. Ed Funkhauser from NC State University put their efforts into developing the North Carolina Reading Service, and we were incorporated in 1982. And we began with a 1-hour broadcast March 1983. So we've been around for a long time. We are now, from that 1-hour broadcast, we're now available 24/7, thanks to 140 dedicated volunteers. And I have to say thank you to all of our volunteer readers, because in a lot of places when you hear reading services, it's an electronic voice. For our group, when you tune into our signal, it's an actual person reading the news and information to you. Our volunteers donate almost 9,000 hours annually to the reading service. And our goal is to turn the printed word into the spoken word so that the blind and print impaired can receive the same ease and access of information as their sighted peers. As you know, if you watch the news, all you get is mostly snippets. And whereas if you read the newspaper, you get a much more in detailed look at what's going on in the world. And so we tried to provide that to our listeners. And we serve thousands of individuals, blind and print impaired, through our broadcast each year. Estimated, we serve about 12,000 individuals. It's hard to figure it all out because when I show you all the different ways you can listen to us with the newest technology, with Alexa, I don't have one right now. I'm looking around to make sure she doesn't go off and start talking all of a sudden. We have it's hard to ascertain how many people are really listening, but we're estimating about 12,000 people a year listen to our broadcast. As many as you guys know, you're Lions, you know that lack of access of information can cause isolation, lower the standard of living, and become a serious obstacle to everyday life. And what we try to do is keep people informed with news, information, cultural enrichment type of programs that encourage independence for those who can't read. And when I say people that can't read, it's not just the blind and print impaired, but we also serve people that maybe have had a stroke and can't hold reading material, or those that are in the early stages of dementia and can't read anymore. I personally have a son whose eyes literally jump, so he can't track reading material as easily as other people can. So those are the kinds of people we try to serve. Our volunteers read local news, editorial, community advertisements from over 80 periodicals. And our newspapers include the News and Observer, Winston-Salem Star, Greensboro News and Record, the Winston-Salem Journal, New Bern Sun, Cary Citizen, Greenville Daily Reflector, just to name a few. We read many newspapers. I'd also say that every morning, if you're a business person, every morning at 8 o'clock, you can turn on to our station and listen to the Wall Street Journal. And every evening during the weekdays at 7 p.m., you can turn on to USA Today. And we're a real bargain, we're free. And if you think of what the subscription rate is for just the Wall Street Journal, one gentleman was telling me it's almost $700 a year for him to get the Wall Street Journal to his house. So we're a real bargain here at Being Free organization. We do offer some of the best sellers out there. We have individuals that read fiction and nonfiction, magazines, articles, children's books, event calendars. As Bill said, we read the Lions newsletter, and I'll show you how to access that. Interview segments, we have wonderful interview segments on legal issues, especially legal issues that affect people with vision disabilities. Grocery store ads, drugstore ads, department store ads. One of the biggest things people that don't realize is how popular our grocery store ads are. I've actually seen somebody walking down the aisle with their aide on a podcast, listening to our grocery store ads to find out what was on there. So we broadcast every Wednesday the latest grocery store ads from those that are out there. Here's our website. And this is the key to the kingdom, is our website, which is www.ncreadingservice.org. So it's ncreadingservice.org. And we are located in Raleigh, but we serve most of the state and a bit beyond, because you can listen to us anywhere. If you look here, I don't know if my pointer, you can see my pointer moving. There's a thing on the right-hand side that says listen live. And there you're able to click on that and you'll live stream our radio reading service at any given time. You can also click here. You can also, if right now on this page, I have to listen to NCRS, we have podcasts. And that's where, and I'll show you in a minute how to get to the podcasts of the Lions newsletters. We have a program guide that you can listen to, look at and see what programs you might be interested in listening to. And also, like your the previous speaker, we also have a round up your spare change button here, which we encourage people to take advantage of. It's one of those simple things that anytime you go to the store and use your credit card, it automatically rounds up to the closest dollar for the NC reading service. So as I said, ncreadingservice.org is our web page. So if you go to listen and then go to podcasts, this page will show up and it's listen to the podcast. And you can see all the different podcasts we have in there. So if you have any interest, say you're into the garden, we have one called Out to the Garden. For our Spanish speaking population, every Saturday we read Que Pasa magazine. We read Oprah. One of our most popular is Our State magazine. We read that. Community Connections is a very popular program where we interview people that are of interest to our population that we serve. And then over on the far right under newsletters, you can see the different districts of Lions that we have available. Different newsletters that are now up and going that they've sent us so that we can put them up there. We also have On Target, which is disability rights newsletter. The Senior Health Insurance Program, SHIPS, is on there. We have one that's fun, is Spare Times, which is the Blind Bowling League in Raleigh. Also has their newsletter up there on our page. This one I thought I'd just throw out there in case anybody's interested. On October 15th, for free, first and foremost, let you know it's free webinar. We are having a vision aware webinar, Issues You Face as We Mature. It's October 15th from 10 until 11 o'clock. And you'll learn about the latest low vision technology, adjusting to changing visions, and treatment for eye disease during the virtual event. And my speaker is Omar Mohudeen, who is with Duke Eye Center. And Omar is a wonderful presenter and will talk about these issues. To register, you simply go back to our website, to events, click on events, and it will show you how to register. And once you register, we'll send you all the information. As I said, it's for free. So I encourage people that are interested to participate in that free webinar coming up. And we continue to expand our programs. As I mentioned, Que Pasa for the Latino community. We have something called Tech Tips, which is a wonderful program of the latest technology about there. Legal Matters. Salute a Veteran every day is one that people really do enjoy, where we interview veterans and find out about their experience. Connect to Success, and the NC Symphony Notes. I don't know if any of you there go to the NC Symphony, but when you do go there, you can click on our webpage or their webpage, and our symphony notes come up there. And you can actually listen to the symphony notes prior to going to the symphony, so you can know what to listen to prior to the actual event. So I thought that was really nice out there. And what you might be asking is how to listen to you.
Man, I don't care. I'm just listening. You can let him in.
You might
The
be
puppy.
how to listen to NCRS. It's easy. And since I don't have one of these machines here in my office here, I can say, listen, Alexa, tune in NC Reading Service, and she'll play it right then and there. And that's all you have to do. As I mentioned, and I showed you earlier, the ncreadingservice.org, click on Listen Live or go to the podcast. If you're in Raleigh, Public Access Channel 22, we do have about 600 specially tuned receivers, SRC receivers out there for people that are indigent or living in an area where there's no internet actual access available. And we loan out these free radios where they just turn it on and they listen to our station. It's a good service. Our problem right now is they used to be great radios. Now that this area is getting built up, we're having a lot of problems with interference. So we're trying to get some other ways to get out there. And so we've gone to this next one, which is Xena Radio, which you can get by just dialing an unlimited off your phone. If you have a landline or a cell phone, you can dial this number of 1-631-853-9617 and listen to our station. One of your cohorts, Lion Bill McClure, Bill is one of my favorite people, and he was actually fell and broke his hip recently and was in a nursing home, and he listened to us all the time in through Xena Radio, and he's probably the biggest supporter of Xena Radio we have out there is Lion Bill McClure. And then we also are getting into senior living centers. So we are now in Abbott's Wood, and they're all in the Raleigh-Durham area. Abbott's Wood, Woodland Terrace, Springmore, and the Forest at Duke. We would love to get out there and further in the state. So if you have any senior living centers you're familiar with or that you work with, we'd love to get out there and get our signal into them. How it works is your in-house network, which most senior living centers have. We tune in through that, we go in through there, and we have a little box that tune in, and they can listen to us. Like your predecessor who was speaking beforehand earlier, we receive no state or federal funds. We get all of our funding through our fundraising, which we have a gala each year. I will say we haven't had it for a couple of years because of COVID. So, but individual donations, corporate donations, faith-based organization, grants, Lions clubs have been a supporter of us, but we do receive no funds from state or local government or from the national government. So it's pretty much, as I joke, that we're professional beggars. Please give us some money, is kind of how we raise our money these days. It's been tough during the COVID months, but we're surviving. We were only closed for a few weeks during the COVID crisis. We are up and going. We are very lucky. We have the dedicated 140 volunteers reading for us, and they didn't miss a beat. They came back, and we're all vaccinated now, and we're thrilled to have everybody back. Our youngest volunteer is 20 years old. Our oldest volunteer will be 99 in November, and he is been reading for 36 years and comes in every Wednesday to read live the morning news. So if you want to turn in to hear a real expert, tune in on Wednesday mornings for the News and Observer, and you'll hear a gentleman that's been around for 99 years that reading our newspaper. So that's who we are. I promised Bill said about 10-15 minutes, so that's why I scheduled my talk to take up
Turn
a
on
little
the
of your
light when you
time as
come up the
possible,
stairs.
but I'm willing to answer any questions you may have, or Bill, if you need to make a
Turn on
few
the
comments.
stairway lights when you come upstairs here.
Okay, we're still getting some conversations. Janet, I would like to make a few comments and then we'll open it up. One thing I want to mention is although most of the volunteers are in the Raleigh area, this is a statewide service.
Yes.
In fact, actually, you can get into the internet from anywhere. So I want to mention this is statewide. And she mentioned October the 15th for their thing. October the 15th is also White Cane Safety Day. So that's a
Right.
kind of important day. There's sort of two reasons that I asked Janet to speak. One is Dale. Yeah, my dog just went off. uh, uh, they lost my concentration. Anyway, it's a great service. It's a great thing to have in your toolbox to help people who are blind, but also it's a great way to get additional people to get access to the district newsletters. And I'm really encouraging, and all of them have been doing this, your district coordinators to put articles about Leader Dog and NC Reader Service in the newsletter. So I just see this as a great part of our toolbox to help those who are in need that we're trying to help. So with that, I'm gonna open it up for questions, and any questions, just unmute and ask Janet. And Janet, we appreciate you. Go ahead and stop your screen share if you want to, Janet.
Okay.
Okay, so questions for Janet. So Janet, if they won't ask one, I'll ask one. So if someone wanted to get some material added, like like I did, what's the best way? If this, in other words, say there was another group that wanted to get their newsletter on the reading service, how would they do that?
They would contact us, call us, and we work with them. North Carolina Reading Services phone number is 919-832-5138, and that's also on our webpage. And just contact us. And there's only 3 of us, I should say, on staff. May, who is our executive director, is a full-time staff person, and then Missy, our volunteer coordinator, and myself are both part-time staff people. And any of us would be willing to help you get more information out there.
Well, and I would say, in reading the newsletter, or listening to the newsletter, it really sounds like you have a friend sitting beside you reading them. I think, is it Julia? Reads them, and she does a fantastic job. So again, we'll entertain questions about for Janet, and if not, we will sort of terminate the meeting. I'll have a few closing remarks. Okay.
Well, if not, I just want to say thank you for letting me speak tonight. I've enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from your previous speaker about leader dogs, and thank you for letting me be here, Bill.
Okay, well, we appreciate it. And from bottom of our hearts, you guys, I want to thank the folks at NC Reading Service. Y'all are doing a fantastic job for our community of people who are blind or have low vision. Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we're going to sort of wrap the meeting up. I will, as I said, I did record this. I will be sending a summary with some contact information, both from contact Bishop Beth and Janet. I want to mention a couple of things on the agenda that I posted at the beginning, there's two bits of information I think you need to know about. One is I'm going to send a link out, and it's to a document published by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. It's called Welcoming Customers Who Use Service Animals. When I would go out and talk, I would get a lot of questions about local business would ask their line friends, how do we keep these people who bring dogs in that aren't service dogs? What do we do? We feel captive to them. Well, this is not law, but it's an excellent brochure that tells you what the rights and responsibilities are for a leader dog and what aren't. So it's really easy to recognize somebody who's got a pet or a companion dog. And so that might be some information you can use. Then there's also going to be a link to a web page that lists all the law, not all the laws, many of the laws, most of them, that the North Carolina legislature have passed for the protection of people who are blind or low vision or their service animals. For instance, I don't know if you know about it, but it rates from all the way from a class H felony down to a class 2 misdemeanor if you do something to a service dog or a police dog or a rescue dog. That's under it's under property, I think, legislation. There's also legislation about protecting people at crosswalks, the use of white cane, etc. So every line needs to know those. So if somebody asks you about it, you can say, oh, yes, there's a law for that. Like a lot of people said, well, there's no protection for guide dogs. Well, there is plenty of protection. It could go up to a felony, and that's pretty serious. So I'll also be sharing that. Now, if anybody wants that directly by email, you can write me and I'll send it to you, but I will post that information the same way I posted the invitation. So hopefully you'll get that. And there'll also be a link to a YouTube video of this program. So at this point in time, I'm going to invite any of the district leader dog chairs to say something. I saw Dawson, Antha. I didn't see Tom on here, but Beth said Tom was on here. I think Bill Womack had a conflict. So any district leader dog chair would like to address the group?
Bill, Tom Snively, can you hear me?
I can, Tom. It's great to hear you. Thank you for all that input you gave me about preparing for this meeting.
I just wanted to say that remind everybody we can talk about O&M, we can talk about leader dog, and if we go back to a club or we see people later on, we may have to repeat ourselves because people don't remember what we say sometimes. And we need to tell our story every time we get the opportunity.
I agree. And, it doesn't always make a difference, but I was on a broadcast with a Zoom meeting with leader dog, and there was a guy I think he was from Arizona, and 20 or so years ago, he was in a restaurant and a line came up to him, noticed he was blind, and asked him if he knew about leader dog. And he said that made such a big difference in his life. And he was a past council chair, so he probably did pretty good in lines too. So he joined the lines because of that conversation. So, we're not just leader dog people, we're lines too, but there's so much symmetry there and synergy. So I would, any other, Tom, do you have anything else you want to say, or any of the other leader dogs?
People know, I'll just let people know that we have a puppy raiser down here. She's more than willing to bring her puppy out. Right now, our puppy is 10 weeks old, so he's a handful, or she is.
Okay. All right. Well, Dawson or Antha, anything you would like to say?
Nope, don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. And I will hope everyone, you all know your leader dog. So appreciate you everyone coming. As I said, I will be posting this, and I'm just going to send the information out like I sent the invitation out. Maybe some other people might take some time to watch the video or use some of the links. Thank you for coming, and that will conclude our Zoom meeting. And if anybody wants to stay on after I stop the recording, you're welcome to stay on. Let me see if I can do this. I have to get out and get a magnifier glass because I can't see what I'm doing here. Let me stop the